actually eating pizza right now. I
Oh, what
shouldn't be
kind?
eating pepperoni, mushroom, double extra cheese, and bacon.
Oh, yummy. That sounds good.
I had to put something on my stomach. Man, that doctor's appointment whooped my behind.
Oh, yeah, I
But
know you went earlier.
yeah, but anyway, welcome, 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 love.
Thank you.
And welcome everybody, all the kinfolk in the house. I see everybody is here and accounted for, present. We have a this is going to be a pretty deep topic. Very deep. Because there's a victim involved, and this victim once was a child, and she was a child when she was victimized. So, first of all, before I do all that, let me say hello to everybody. Millionaires Cove is here. Barbara's here. Satin Doll is here. Hi, Kendra. Hello. Kathy Mitchell's here. Let's see. My honey is in the other room laying down, but he's here. Mr. Phillips is here. Hello, Mr. Phillips. And let's see, I think that covered everybody. Oh, Rachel Haynes. Can't forget Rachel. Rachel be the first one in the door. She be knocking down the door. So welcome everybody. As you can tell, the topic is about R. Kelly. But it's not really about R. Kelly so much as it's about the young lady the young girl. She was 14 at the time. And I don't know if you guys remember. I know I remember. But there was a tape back before the internet was big. And, even before CDs were a big deal and DVDs were a big deal. We had those VHS tapes. Y'all remember those? And R. Kelly had made a tape. Let me put myself on camera too. Uh-oh. Hit the wrong button. R. Kelly created an SEX tape of this girl. And she was 14 years old. And it was a mess. I'll just put it like that. I can remember when it hit the streets. It hit the streets of Chicago first. But it went nationwide. And you know how they talk about viral now, how a video goes viral. That tape went viral for that time. You know what I'm saying? They were out there selling those VHS tapes. I think they even had them on. They might have had some on DVD, but I know they were on CD. You could only play it on your computer at the time. But he did some real nasty stuff to her on this tape, and had her dancing and stuff like that. And clearly, she was a child, 14 years old. Oh well, 41-year-old. She's 41 now. 41-year-old Rashana Landfair finally came out with her identity. And she did an interview with CBS. Apparently, she testified at he was charged when it came out, that he had been messing around with this little girl. There was a trial back then, and she testified and lied to the grand jury and said it wasn't her. It wasn't her.
Oh, wow.
And of course, there was a lot of speculation. People pretty much knew she was lying, but she was protecting him. And it wasn't until the docuseries about R. Kelly, Surviving R. Kelly, when that came out, that struck her. You know what I'm saying? Because she looked at that and saw all those women that had been victimized by him
Mm.
And she said, if I had told the truth, those people wouldn't have been victimized. That's a pretty heavy burden to bear.
Yeah, it is.
You know what I'm saying? But anyway, he was a dog. I mean, he was convicted back in what, 2022 for the very thing he was guilty of back then in
Right.
2000, because that tape came out in 2001. It's
Wow.
been 25 years. Well, no, let me think. Did it come out in 2001 or did she do it in 2001? I can't remember. But it's been years. 25 years have passed. Oh, I need some tea. Um but he was a dog back then, and he was a dog before her, because I got a girlfriend. My best friend lives she was raised in that area in Chicago. She actually lived in Gary, Indiana, and she told me R. Kelly used to go around to all the high schools after school scoping for girls out of high
Wow.
school. Grown ass man, and had his boys with him, and they were scoping them out. So if you were in the black community back then, you knew what was going on, especially if you were in Chicago.
Wow.
So, but yeah, he was convicted of racketeering and sex crimes in two separate federal trials that
Wow.
took place in 2021 and 22. So he's locked up for a long time. He got 30 years.
Mm.
Oh, he
Ooh.
won't be getting out anytime soon, because they done stuck some more charges on him since then. But that 14-year-old girl did lie to the grand jury. She could have gone to jail herself,
Yeah, for
but
lying.
he had groomed her so well. And the thing that people don't realize is that she carried on a relationship with him well after
After.
the yeah. When she turned 17, it was 17. She was 17 when he told her about the tape leaking.
Mm.
And
Oh.
at that point, he told her, I need to go to your parents. He went to the parents, and, I guess he went into a room with the father, and the father was very upset. Can you
Okay.
imagine? I mean,
Uh-uh.
and
Him
see, a
telling me
lot,
this, you're sleeping with my daughter.
okay, a lot has been said about the parents. A lot has been said even about Sparkle, her auntie, because her auntie was a recording artist as well under R. Kelly. And she brought this young lady along because this little girl was a rapper. She was a
Oh,
real
okay.
good rapper. But there was something said that really just kind of made my back go tense when she said that her auntie told her, you should go over and sit on his lap and rub his head and tell him you want him to be your godfather.
Whoa.
I mean, yes. Would you be my goddaddy? I got a problem with that right there.
Yeah.
First of all, you don't tell no 14-year-old girl in puberty
Yeah.
to go sit on no grown man's lap and rub his head. But we'll get into
That's
all that.
disturbing.
But I can just imagine that girl, how embarrassed she had to be. You know, thinking back to being that age myself, and a lot of other young
I
ladies
know.
back then, how it was to be 14, 15 years old. And back then, it wasn't a big deal to be with an older guy.
Right.
You know, a lot of girls thought it was a badge of honor, you know. Oh, I'm just 14 and he's interested in me, not realizing that dude is a creep.
Right.
Had to be. That goes for the same dude that took my virginity.
Mine too, girl.
I was 15, he was 20.
Yep.
I'm telling you.
That's how my story kind of went. Yep.
Yeah. So it's not out of the norm, at least back in those days. It wasn't out of the norm compared to today.
Right.
But still, she carried a burden like that for years. And I can understand why. She was embarrassed, that all of these people, all these strangers have seen her body, has seen him peeing on her.
Yeah.
Some of the other things that he did on her and did to her isn't I can't even
Wow.
go into. But I don't know. I just wanted people to understand that, you know, I know she's a victim. I know she's a victim.
Yeah.
She's definitely a victim, but there's still some blame to be given to others beside R. Kelly, like the people that worked for him,
Right.
the
The
ones that
auntie.
helped him find these girls. Not necessarily this one, but other girls. And even Portia. Did you know that Portia from Housewives of Atlanta? You
Yeah.
know,
What about
she
her?
she was one of them women.
Oh, was she?
I read the book.
Oh, wow. I didn't know.
Matter of fact, if you guys could hold on for just a second, I'll go get the book and I'll share that with you. Hold tight for just a second, okay?
Okay.
Talk amongst yourselves for a moment.
Hi, Donna. Wow. Isn't this something? What a story. He's never getting out of jail. He's done some really raunchy stuff with young girls. Hello, adventurous. How you doing? What else is going on in the chat? What are you guys thinking? What are your thoughts about this R. Kelly situation? Put a one in the chat if you. I'm sure you know who he is. If you're up with the story, put a one in the chat.
Okay, here we go. I don't have it with me right now. I have the book. Here's the book. And the title of the book is The Pursuit of Portia by Portia Williams. And she speaks
Oh,
quite a bit about her encounters, plural, more than one encounter
wow.
with him. I was shocked. I was shocked. Now she wasn't a minor, but she was able to speak to his behavior.
Oh,
Yeah, she was able to speak to that. I'm gonna try to find that. I don't want to take up too much time looking for it. It didn't even occur to me that that maybe I should look for this information, because it just occurred to me. I forgot all about Portia.
yeah.
But yeah, it's really more than a notion. But I tell you what, I'm gonna play. I want to play for you the interview that this young lady did on CBS. And while that's playing, I'll be kicking in there just to make sure that I don't get flagged. But let me go ahead and share this video with y'all if you guys haven't seen it already. Let's see. Here we go. I'm pretty sure this is it. Okay, nope, that's not it. Let me take that off. There's another one. I've got so many different things up here. Okay, this is the extended interview. And this is on CBS Mornings show. And while you guys listen to this, I'll break in, but I'll be looking for this page in here, a few pages.
How are you doing?
I'm doing well. I'm doing well. Feel present.
hmm When I think about the amount of time that has passed based on how long you knew R. Kelly, I think so many people have wanted to hear from you for so long. How does it feel to not be Jane Doe anymore?
It feels very rewarding. It feels very liberating, um, which was a part of the reason why I wanted to write this book because I really wanted to live in my true skin, in my true self.
And your true self today is what?
My true self today is Rashona Landfair, not Jane Doe, not Sean. It's who I am as a person, who I am as a mother, a friend, a daughter, a colleague, etc.
You dedicate this book to your dad, your son, and you say your inner self.
hmm
Who else would you say this book is for?
This book is for every person who has gone through some sort of trauma or some sort of uncomfortable moment in their life where they blamed themselves, were ashamed or embarrassed to live in their true skin and just really took the faults of other people and, kind of hid behind that. So it was just really freeing for me, and I wanted to share my experience with people who have been in similar situations.
You obviously talk in this book about how it started. You don't start at the moment people start talking about you or knowing anything about who you are and who you're associated with. But you describe at length how it started. You mention your aunt, the artist Sparkle, who used to work with R. Kelly. I want to read some of it from, I think it was page 18. You say in the book, the next time we're at the studio, this is what you say, Sparkle said. You say your aunt told you the next time we're at the studio, you should ask Robert to be your godfather. Aunt Sparkle explained that I should sit on his lap and rub his head while I asked him to be my godfather. This instruction seemed sort of weird since I hadn't sat on his lap before.
Sorry about that. That's the thing that got to me. For her aunt to tell her to go sit on that man's lap and rub on his head and say, "You should be my godfather." That's crazy to me. Even back then, that's almost like, what are you pushing her into this situation? I mean, why would you think that's okay?
Why would
Why?
you think that's okay
I
to
don't
put your
understand.
niece in a situation that is uh, really bad?
I was floored when I heard that because
Yeah,
back then I heard a lot of about Sparkle being jealous and all this stuff, and I was like, I don't think she's jealous. I don't. I mean, she sees an issue and she's concerned. That's her niece, but I didn't hear about this suggestion that she climb on this man's lap and rub his head. You know, mm-mm, mm-mm. I'd never heard that before. So it kind of makes me look at her side eyed. It really does.
for sure,
Yeah.
especially
But I
being
didn't question
older.
Yep.
it. When you think back, is that where it all begins? Is that the start?
That is the start. That is the start of him entering into my life in a different way than just being an artist or hanging out at the studio. It became more personable at that moment.
Because you yourself were an artist. You were a part of a rap group. You had toured Europe, you'd been to Europe,
Hmm.
and it was your aunt, you said, that introduced the family to R. Kelly because he's this successful artist from Chicago. At this time, he's really starting to blow up. He left the group that he was in,
Hmm.
and it was interesting, exhilarating, fun to be around him, is kind of how you describe it in the beginning. I mean, this is a big superstar, and you have
Yes.
access to him like, hey, I want to hang out in the studio.
Hmm.
And at the time, in the beginning, he's treating you like a normal, excited kid that wants to learn more about the business.
Correct.
So, when do things turn? And I know you go into great detail,
Hmm.
the early stages and why this is so complicated, your mindset
Hmm.
at that time.
Well, during the time that I met him, I'm also a teenage girl who's going through puberty. And so some of the things that I was thinking or feeling were just normal expressions um, to, my maturity level at the time. And so it starts very innocent. It starts, you know, being mesmerized and, like you said, like admiring this person. And then, it kind of gets a little deeper or more complicated when that person is able to see what you can't see, the way you're developing, your conversation, your personality traits. So it kind of became more complicated when he started analyzing me and, the things that I was going through and who I was becoming as a person. And again, I was excited and mesmerized to, be under his wing and to be a part of his habitat. So,
Imagine being a 14-year-old girl. You already feel some sort of way for an older man to be, you know,
Right, like starstruck,
interested,
all
you
excited.
know, but to be for a man of his caliber, a celebrity, you know what I'm saying? A celebrity of that caliber, a big Grammy winner. I mean, this man was writing songs left and right that were just crazy popular, crazy. There, even today, even though there's a lot of people that refuse to listen to his music now because of what he did, it doesn't take away from the fact that the man had talent
Right.
and his music was, man, crazy. It was crazy. But can you imagine being a 14-year-old and your hormones are going through all these changes and this celebrity is interested in you? I don't know about y'all, but that would blow me away. That would blow me away. What do you think, Lady Letitia?
Yeah, I would have been excited too. Like, this guy is interested. I'm thinking at 14, like she's going through puberty. She's probably not thinking. She's
Hmm.
probably thinking it's safe.
Yep.
My aunt is telling me to do this and that, so it must be a safe place. Um, a lot will be going through.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree.
that's how things kind of unfolded.
So we know that things progress beyond looking out for you as almost like a goddaughter, and it turns into something more than that. I want to go and stay with your aunt Sparkle, who I've interviewed before.
Hmm.
And she was the first person to really sort of say, you need to go check over there. Something's not right.
Right.
I think there's something going on that should not be going on.
Hmm.
In the book, you describe social services coming to your home to do a welfare check,
Hmm.
and your parents are shocked. They think perhaps maybe she's just jealous because she's no longer affiliated, associated with R. Kelly. And then obviously 2001, 2002, we're talking about the tape. But why don't you think anyone believed your Aunt Sparkle when she first raised a red flag about a possible inappropriate relationship?
I don't think they believed her because there were no obvious signs of what was actually taking place. It was more coming from her end, maybe looking like a motive from, like you said, not being around him. And those kind of questions or concerns didn't happen until she was no longer a part of, his camp or the things that were taking place, her as an artist. That's when those questions started to raise.
Chapter 7, you call it stress fractures. And you say it was a couple of weeks before your 17th birthday. You say, Robert told me the copies of one of the sex tapes of 14-year-old me were beginning to be sold on the streets of Chicago and across the country. Your reaction to that when you think about hearing those words from R. Kelly, that this tape is out there and you were 14 years old?
I was empty. I was very hollow inside. I was very confused. Didn't know what to expect. Um, and I was embarrassed.
Rightfully so.
I want to read part of that in terms of just sort of what you were feeling at that time, because at some point, the remedy for this, according to you refer to him as Robert in the book, is that he wants to tell your parents.
Hmm.
And you say, Robert told me how he would tell my parents the truth
Hmm.
about us. My mom and I were in one room, and my dad and Robert were in another. You go on to say some other things, but eventually you get to this part.
Now, her father was also a musician. Her father was a drummer. So he knew R. Kelly in that respect. But I don't think he realized that there was something deeper between his daughter and R. Kelly when he was told about this tape. He was told about the tape and the relationship at the same time. So imagine that. This man, and he has since passed away. He passed away in 2021, and she dedicated the book to him. But as a father, that's your baby girl. I think you're muted, baby. Yeah.
Yeah, that's your baby.
I mean, can you imagine Lil Bit coming home saying, "Daddy, this is my boyfriend." Well, you know him. They knew each other anyway.
Yeah.
But
No,
there
it would
seems
be
to be a
devastating.
problem. Yeah, there's a tape out there. Mr. Phillips said your body's calling. That's my jam too. But I mean, one thing I didn't hear her talk about in this interview was her mother and her mother's reaction. And I wish she could
Right.
have gone deeper into that. But,
That is true.
there's
It's
still
almost
this.
like she knew.
Well, and not only that, here's the thing. After finding out at the age of 17, this is your 17-year-old daughter. Why are you allowing her to continue? Because at that point, the cat was out of the bag. He
Well,
said,
she's almost 18 now.
right, by that time, but she was still living at home, from what I understand. Maybe not, I
Oh,
don't know. But at 17, she was still a minor.
yeah.
And I don't care what anybody says, just because you turn 18 don't make you grown mentally. It's just a physical a switch. It's like flipping a switch. A light comes on when you flip a light switch on. However, that doesn't necessarily mean you are mentally grown.
Right. Exactly. Even when you turn 18.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And they allowed her to continue to see him. She saw him past adulthood.
Wow.
Yeah.
After a while, Dad came storming out of the room, crying hysterically and cursing, saying to R. Kelly, "You're
Hmm.
sick. I can't rock with you. I can't help you. You need to get help." He yelled at Robert, who followed us into the elevator and was on his knees crying. Man, I'm sorry. I just love her. So the turning point from innocent goddaughter running around just trying to learn the music industry to something more like you're trying to make sense of why he's calling you and saying, what are you wearing? This type of thing. To now you're confronted with something that's out there and he's saying the solution is just tell them. I know it looks crazy, but I believe you're my angel as you refer to in the book. And your dad initially is upset. He's crying. He's confused. He doesn't know what's going on. Why wasn't that the moment when you look back where you were not allowed to see R. Kelly anymore, be around him? Take us to why it was so complicated for you and your family and what you said to your parents.
It was very complicated. My dad wanted to make the right decision, and he was not okay with anything that took place. I was more under Robert's brainwash. I was more under his spell, and he utilized me against my parents, making threats of suicide and doing different things out of desperation to convince them to not turn on him. And because I had been groomed for so long to carry out this mission and also not want that girl on the videotape to be myself, I thought in my little mind that maybe that was the best approach. We felt more protected and had more resources and help through him than taking matters into our own hands with this celebrity and the industry and not wanting to be the people to end R. Kelly and deal with hatred and many things. So, I mean, I'm not here to sugarcoat any shortcomings of my parents or myself, but at the time, that's what that's what made us feel the safest.
You felt as though R. Kelly was holding all of the cards, had all of the power.
He did.
How did you make peace with your parents later? Because that's also something, I mean, even at the beginning of this interview, speaking of dedicating the book
Hmm.
to him, and my condolences because I know he passed away in 2021. But how were you able at this age to make peace with everything that's happened and your parents' involvement?
When you become a parent, you have a different way of thinking.
And it's really unfortunate because it took it took for her to have a child to really understand how it changes you. It changed your whole mental insight, and I just I'm gonna just let this play because there's a lot of pages here. No, keep going here.
But I also look at the other women and the other survivors and the other, people who, he dealt with who lost total communication with their parents and their families and literally lived everything that he made them think or everything that they made him feel.
Yeah.
So, in a sense of why it might be presented to look a certain way, my parents actually saved me. They're the reason why I'm sitting here today. Because if it had not been for them, if I lost complete communication with them and I was literally living his dreams, his brain, his way of thinking, I don't know where I would be
Hmm.
mentally, physically, or emotionally.
When the trial started and the questions from federal investigators are coming,
Mhm.
when you look back again, so much of this is people being able to try and understand it through your lens. You're
Right.
living it. You're the only one with this story. Why not tell the truth in 2002 or 2008 when there was finally a trial after 6 years?
That's one of my biggest regrets, not telling the truth. But again, when I have been trained and groomed since I was age 13, I started believing the lies that I was telling. It was very foggy and unclear on what I really felt versus what was right or what was wrong. And even in moments where I despised Robert, I still lied for him.
When I look back at that trial, even this idea that people who were not part of the jury were able to see.
Okay. Um, I'm sorry, you guys. I have to stop right here for just a moment. Dell Plummer. If you don't want to listen, if you don't want to watch, you can leave. Why don't you do that? Why don't you leave? You're muted, lady. I don't
Yeah,
appreciate
Dell,
I
because
don't appreciate this comment right here.
yeah,
This
that
is
was
sordid. Do we need to hear this? Who does it help? It helps. If it
a lot
doesn't
of
help you, then
people.
go on about your business.
It helps a lot of people. And Auntie Mickey said in the beginning that this was going to be a heavy program.
I don't know
And
what your trip is, lady, but I've had it with you. I
Dell, you
really
get
have.
yourself in trouble.
I've had it with you. I don't know where your mind is coming from, but you say some of the stupidest shit I've ever heard. And I would appreciate if you would leave my platform right now. Cuz if you don't do it, I'll boot you out myself. That's totally uncalled for. I don't know how you do things where you come from. But we talk about things like this because we have children to protect. This is a cautionary tale. Sorry you don't understand, but you're rude and obnoxious with your comments.
Dell, leave. You're going to have to leave. Get out the
Well, she's
chat.
gone. I thought that was very tacky.
Yeah, it was very tacky, Dell. Please leave the chat.
Just Hot Flash and said people need to talk more about it, period. I don't know what Dell's problem is, Letitia, and I don't
Yeah.
fault you for that. This lady has got a twisted head to me. She says
Yeah,
some of the stupidest shit I've ever seen, and
she
I've bitten
does.
my tongue long enough.
She gets in trouble a lot.
Yeah, well,
She
she gonna
says
get
some
cussed
things
out on me.
shouldn't
Yeah,
should be said, Dell. Dell.
I think she's gone. I'm
Okay.
pretty sure she's gone. I didn't boot her, but if she isn't gone, she can sit right here if she want to. Just don't say shit in my chat.
Yeah, don't say anything.
That's ridiculous. I'm sorry, you
It is.
guys.
It's ridiculous. That wasn't very nice to say, Dell, at all.
That's okay. That's okay.
Some of that video
Mhm.
and the jokes that came from the video, because we're talking about seeing a person at the time, not knowing who it is
Mhm.
for sure, um, being urinated on and talked about. Do you look at even the justice system as not protecting you to some extent? I mean, thinking about that video being played before a gallery of everyday citizens.
I definitely think things could have been handled differently. I'm happy I wasn't there to witness everyone um, watching that. Um, you know, to the world imagery, I was not made to be a victim. I was a mockery. And that was very difficult to digest. It was very disheartening to know that my body was just being displayed and tossed around. And, when I look back on it, I wish things could have been done differently, but those are all of the things that I had to internalize.
How were you able to sit through the trial in the parking lot? Because I think to know that you were so close to the trial that could have put R. Kelly away back then, and listen to his instruction. Don't watch television.
Hmm.
Don't read the paper. I mean, this wasn't the same, social media wasn't a thing in 2008 the
Right.
way that it is now.
That's another tactic that they do. They use a lot of mind control. Tell them what to watch, who to listen to, and things like that. And that's very dangerous because at that point they can control what you think, what you perceive, and that allows them to manipulate that person even longer. This woman went through this for several years from the time she was a child. She was 14 years old when that tape was made. And I mean, good thing he's gone. You know, he's gone away for years and years and years and years. But he's not the only one out there. I mean, they're all over the place and they're not all celebrities. We've got your average people out there on the street. You got pastors out there, congressmen out there, teachers out there. You've got regular, you know, uncles out there that are doing the same thing. The same thing. And they're ruining these young people. Not just girls anymore. They're doing it to boys as well. And the more that we bring this out in the open, the better. What you think about it, lady? Oh, she's doing. I'm gonna go ahead and play the video some more.
Um, but take us back to, and I know you're going to get a lot of these types of questions because most of this book is based on the past and how you've been able to come out of it. But take us back to what it was like being in a van and knowing that just a few 100 feet away, his life was on the line.
That was very scary. I didn't understand why he wanted me there, why he made those choices, but I just went with the program. It was very difficult because I would also be paranoid. Like, what if somebody raids the bus, or what if the wrong person walks on here? Um, but I don't know if he did it for comfort of not wanting, of being afraid of me just having the freedom to just walk out if I wanted to.
Right.
But he kept me very close in that way.
What was your reaction to that 2008 not guilty verdict? You talk about it in the book, but tell us how you were really feeling at that time.
I felt happy for him. I didn't want to see his career end. I didn't want to see him taken from his family. I thought things were going to change for him, for us. I thought things would just get a lot better. I thought this was our freedom to just be family and to, all of the different traumas and me having to hide and disguise myself and be lonely and away from my family. I thought that was closure to all of the negative things that he kind of made me feel like had to happen during this case that lasted for so many years.
And at this point, too, you're in your 20s.
Right.
So you're thinking, yeah, this stuff happened, but, this is our chance to reset.
Oh boy, Ron Cooley. Ron Cooley said, at the time I was working at a radio station in Detroit and seen the tape of her when it came out, it hurt my heart. I interviewed him when he was with Public Announcement and he looked like a perv then. Wow, Ron, you actually got a chance to interview him.
That is
That's
pretty interesting.
that is crazy. Wow.
He was like a
And
curve.
and you know what, Ron, you're absolutely right. R. Kelly was very bold to record his music and make his songs about what he was doing. He
Yeah.
was doing those very things that he was talking about in his music.
Yep. Age ain't nothing but a number.
Okay? That one. That was the first clue right there. Yes, he sure did just hot flash. And he also said that he was essayed and he was groomed. So this
Wow.
is a generational type curse,
Yeah, it is.
and someone needs to break it. Someone needs to break it. It may not be a generational curse in your family, but it's still a generational curse because it happens generation after generation.
Yeah.
Wow.
Mm.
Him and his brother. Yes, Millionaire's Gold. Yep. So true. Him and his brother. Oh, my goodness. Let me go ahead and click on it again.
Right.
But what actually happened?
Things got worse. And then I started um, realizing that I had been used and utilized for a purpose, that I was a placeholder, that I was here to make sure Robert didn't go to jail. Not because he loved me, not because he was my protector, or because I was his angel. My purpose was done, he was finished.
And you talk about moving out and starting your own, going on vacation, really getting a taste of what it is to be independent. But even though you left R. Kelly, you left the home, you never quite left his orbit. Explain.
That was definitely me operating out of cognitive dissonance. It was more so like I knew things were wrong. I knew everything that I went through, but this is all I've known for the majority of my life. This is the behavior that was my normal and that I felt like was okay.
Mm-hmm.
So I was kind of afraid to operate outside of him. I didn't know what to do. I had to literally learn myself from a 12-year-old girl up into
Mm.
who I was to today.
Yeah. And that was
Oh,
hard
wait.
to
It was very
completely let go.
difficult.
She said 12.
January 3rd, 2019,
Yeah.
Surviving R. Kelly airs.
Hmm.
Did you see all six? It's a six-part series. Did you see all of it
I
or
don't
just
I
some of
don't
it?
know if I saw all of it, but I saw enough.
And you thought then,
That was my the spirit of conviction came over me during that
Spirit
moment.
of conviction.
because
Yeah.
of that documentary, that docu-series.
Yes.
And when you say the spirit of conviction, what do you mean by that?
Somehow I felt responsible
Mm.
that he was able to hurt so many more people.
Oh, God. Thank
During the time,
you.
I thought
Mm.
maybe these were just sexual fetishes that he had with me. Maybe this was just abuse I was going through. But when I saw that his behavior had gotten so much worse
Mm-hmm.
and he was allowed to hurt so many people because I lied, that did not sit well with me as an adult, as a woman.
Mm-hmm. Is that
Jesus.
the moment you
Wow.
decided you were going to cooperate with federal investigators?
Yes, it was in that moment.
Mm-hmm.
I couldn't I couldn't do it anymore.
Yeah.
It was a breaking point for me, for sure.
I really want people to understand your perspective about how difficult this was and
Hmm.
the psychological factor
Hmm.
because you put it out there in the book because you want people to understand it. It's almost like you're talking to the reader at times when you say, now listen, I know you might think this, or
Hmm.
even the way you've protected folks in the book. You don't really go in about things you clearly know. It's
Hmm.
almost like you are saying, I want to stick to my story and I don't want to make judgment on other people for their decisions.
That is right.
But you talk about this conflict of a back and forth, even with the text messages that the defense showed in court to
Hmm.
say, well, wait a minute. They were texting like, hey, how's it going? Are you good? I'll call my mom. She recently lost her mom. And, they're trying to create this image that you're fine.
Hmm.
For people that don't understand what that's like to be you and in that position,
Hmm.
help folks understand this. You say the cognitive dissonance, but also this back and forth dance of trying to tell yourself, I'm good, I'm
Hmm.
fine.
Yeah.
Use Wisdom said, did she help put him away? Unfortunately, no.
No.
And that's why she said she had the spirit of conviction because she had an opportunity. to put him away long before those other women did.
Wow.
And that's why she felt so guilty that all
Mhm.
of those other women became victims of his because
Victim.
she lied. She lied in court.
If she had told the truth, then he would have got convicted.
Exactly. Exactly. So I understand what she meant by uh, the spirit of conviction because that's
Wow.
something that we hear in the church a lot. You know, when the spirit convicts you, and
Yeah.
it gives you that
It'll
that
nag on you.
that it'll let you know, oh, you're guilty
Thumbs
of
up.
something. So yeah, you're just on time, Life Chronicles. That's okay, sweetheart. Yes, yes, she went to court and she did lie. She was a minor, and out of embarrassment and because he had groomed her so well, she was lying for him. She was
Right.
lying to protect him.
Yeah. She said that.
So, yeah.
That's why we're cool. Almost
Mhm.
like you almost have to have that power too to say,
To
you don't
convince
have power
myself.
over me because see, look, we're good. You
Mhm.
can text me and I'll text you back.
That is very true. And what I will say about that is not everything about Robert was terrible, even though it was that way most of the time. Not everything about him. This was a person that I did feel like I loved and that I grew into loving. And he was family in some areas. Not everything about him was terrible. The moments were, though, very frequently. But it was just a battle of me convincing myself, like, I made it out. I'm good now. I can be cool with him. I can see him with other women. I tried to maintain whatever friendship. I still loved his children. And, you know, honestly, I cared about his well being.
And do you see how that grooming can make a young person, a young woman, diminish herself, put
Yeah.
less value on herself?
Her self esteem.
Her self esteem was so down that she accepted other women. That's just one indication that he had her brainwashed. You know, you should be happy that I'm paying attention to you. You know, I'm the great R. Kelly.
Right.
You know, and you should be flattered.
Yeah. And
It's
when he got
it
off
does
the
a
first
number.
time, he realized that he felt like he was untouchable too.
Exactly. Exactly. Just like Casa Bear Scottish said, brainwashed and broken. And she didn't
Yes.
even know. She didn't even know she was brainwashed and broken.
She didn't. She didn't.
Wow. She didn't know.
Uh-uh. She was confused, trying to figure this out, trying to probably figure out why he ain't liking me like he used to.
Right. Right. And just, glad to still have a piece of him.
Right.
It
Just
really
something.
did a number on her self-esteem and her worth. Her
Yeah.
interpretation of her own worth was
Yeah.
diminished, and she didn't even realize it.
It'll do something. Yeah.
Hmm. 8 with the 24 says he tried to get my cousin to come to his concert. I don't doubt it.
Well, my sister went to his concert, right?
Uh-huh.
And I said, did he? She said he hit on her. Or he said something about an after party or something like that. And
Uh-huh.
she said no.
Hmm.
But I said, so she showed us the picture she took with them.
Uh-huh.
And I said, wow, that's pretty. This was before. This was close to, he's just about to get caught and go to jail.
Uh-huh.
It was
Well,
around that time.
Use Wisdom said me and my friends in high school traveled hours to see him after a concert. So he was known for his after parties.
See?
Yeah. But he got reckless with that behavior.
Yes, he
He was
did.
pulling girls up there during the concert. I
Oh,
know
wow.
if you ever saw, if you, did you get a chance to see Surviving R. Kelly, the
No, I didn't
docu-series?
see it.
Child, you gotta watch it.
Okay.
It would blow you away.
Hmm.
some of the things that he was able to get away with, and that these parents
Oh.
allowed their daughters. One set of parents allowed their daughter to go backstage with him at a concert, and
Oh
and
wow.
I'm like, what? Without me?
Okay.
No, you're not.
Wow.
Yes, Millionaire's Cove is right. He's definitely a great performer in concert. But this is what they do. They use that spark to catch you.
Yeah, they
Yeah,
do.
yeah. Dell Plummer says abuse is one out of every two children. That is where we need to start. Not talking endlessly about these famous abusers. You know what, uh,
I'm kicking
lady,
you out,
ban her ass out of here.
Dale.
Ban her outside.
You are
Every
about to
time I
get
see you, I'm gonna cuss your ass out every time I see you, cause you
you
clearly don't get it.
are about to get banded. Dell, do you even care? You
No,
are
she
about to
don't.
get banded. You finally have hit that moment.
I'm there. I'm there. Get your stank ass out of my chat,
Okay.
please.
Auntie Mickey, um, I think once you get off of her, I can go ahead and get rid of. Yeah, thank
Got
you.
it. I don't want her back on my platform. No, you can't handle the truth, you racist bitch.
See, you didn't got case
Now,
moved out. Wow, Dale.
I'm telling you, every time I see her, I'm gonna have something to say to her. I
That's
don't
okay.
want to ever disrespect your platform, Lady
No,
Letitia,
you're fine. She
but
does
that mess right there
her.
is uncalled for.
It is. It's really bad.
Keep
It's
that mess over
bad.
there wherever you live in Britain, or where is she from?
Australia.
Australia. Keep that shit over there in Australia with them little furry animals. Cause
Dale,
I don't play that. That's disrespectful. First of all, you're on my platform now.
if you come back after you're timed out, I will block you and you won't be able to come back because I don't know how to unblock.
Yeah,
So
that
that's just a warning.
that's foul. That's
Yeah,
foul.
she pushes it every time.
Well, she done pushed me, and she done pushed the wrong one, and I don't have a problem cussing her out.
Nerve to come back with it. That's the crazy part.
Mm-mm. I'm not gonna play that game. What she does on your platform, it's not my my place to say. But now she's over here talking stupid, and I will cuss her smooth out. I don't have a problem with it. I really don't. And you're very disrespectful to Lady Letitia, because
Very,
if it wasn't for her being here, your ass wouldn't even be here.
very
Let the truth be
disrespectful.
told.
Yes, it doesn't make me. Yeah, it's really bad, Dale.
Yeah, yeah.
And you're not the first, Auntie Mickey.
I know. I know. I've
Yeah,
held my tongue from her long enough,
yeah.
and she just did it tonight. She did it tonight. You don't come up in my chat and and disrespect what we're talking about.
Exactly.
If
Don't
you
do
don't
that.
like it, leave. If you don't like it, take your narrow Australian racist ass up out of here. Leave. Point blank. Period. And stay gone.
Yeah, you done messed up again.
Jesus. There's something wrong with that chick. I'm gonna go ahead and play this video. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, you guys. I'm sorry you guys had to even witness that. My bad.
Even outside of just, like everything that was happening. So it was a battle internally for me to fully, let go of somebody that I had been groomed into fully being dependent upon.
In March of that same year, so shortly after the R. Kelly docuseries comes out on Lifetime, Gail King sat down with him
Hmm.
and the two women that he was in a relationship with at the time. Did you happen to see that?
I did.
when you saw him react in the way that he did about this, you're trying to take my life. And, I thought about playing that for you, but I don't even want you to have to see him because I think it's not necessary. But when you saw that version of him, as you talk about, it wasn't like this all the time.
Hmm.
But did you feel for him, or did you think he's going down and he's scared?
Well, first I thought it was very Broadway of him to act like that. That was very normal for him to have that type of response. And when I heard those girls speak, I knew exactly what who was talking through them.
Mm.
I knew exactly what mission they had, the convincing, the firmness, everything that I had been trained and groomed to do. I read right in between that. And in that moment, I did not feel sorry for him at all. I felt like you still don't get it. You're still convincing yourself of all the lies that you are, bleeding into everyone else. And I knew exactly what took place was getting ready to happen. And he was very scared. He knew it too.
As you sit here today, do you feel like you are completely healed?
No, I'm a work in progress. I have a long road ahead of me, but I can look
Mm,
back and I know exactly where I come from and I can see the stars now.
I'm proud of her.
Yeah,
I'm very proud of her
because
because she
some
didn't
people
have to
don't
do
make it
this.
through stuff like this,
Absolutely. Absolutely.
mentally and mentally playing on your mental.
Yeah. I'm very, very proud of her. It took a lot of courage for her to come out and out
Mhm.
herself, you know. And I could just imagine as a 14-year-old girl knowing that all of these people all over the country have seen this tape. Can you imagine the
Right.
blow that took? I mean, that she had to take knowing, how embarrassing.
How embarrassing.
She's a girl in school, 14
Yeah,
years old. And imagine, I mean, my boys saw the tape and they were in
I
school at the
never saw it.
time. Yeah, my sons saw it, both of
Wow.
them. And they were just a couple years older than her. And
Wow.
imagine going to school with a young lady like this, and you just happen to see this local hometown girl in a sauna dancing for R. Kelly while he's peeing on her. It's crazy. It's
Yeah, it is.
crazy the mental that she had to go through to
Yeah.
keep that inside,
Yeah.
and still love this guy.
It probably took her some years just to stop caring about him.
Right, right. Absolutely. And I think to a certain degree, she still deep down inside does care about him, but
Yeah.
she has a responsibility now to a 5-year-old boy, and
Yep.
she's got to raise that 5-year
Oh,
old boy.
so is that his child?
No, no, it's not his child,
Okay.
but she still has a
Oh,
responsibility
yeah.
to raise that young boy into a man not like him.
Exactly.
You know, what
Exactly.
better way? What better way to teach your son but from experience?
Exactly.
Oh, thank you, Millionaires Cove, for the $10 super chat. Bless your heart. Thank you so much.
Thank you, millionaire.
Yes, thank you. Kumari says it's like the Cassie situation. You know, they get in your mind and slowly eat away at your self-esteem. And next thing
Yeah,
you
they
know,
do.
you're less than who you really are.
Right. You're not yourself.
No, not at all.
Yeah, you are confused.
Absolutely. Ron Cooley said it takes a lot to speak up and a lot of support and counseling for her to have made it this far. But at the
Yes.
same time, he was paying some of these parents for the kids, not all, but some of them. I totally agree, Ron, because there were things said about some of the things that he was buying her. Okay. He bought
Okay.
her a nice vehicle and somebody didn't make her give it back, if you know what I'm saying. So I'm not
Right.
trying to place blame on any parents or anything like that, but it takes a village.
Oh
And if
yeah.
you see something, say something.
Yes.
You can't turn your head and act like it's
Exactly.
no big deal.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
Adventurous You says, why did her parents let her aunt take her around him? Well, first of all, um, her aunt was also a recording artist under R. Kelly. This young lady here was a 14-year-old rapper. She was very talented as a 14-year-old rapper. The whole family was a very musical family, and her father was even a drummer. So they were in those circles, if you understand what I'm
Yeah.
saying. So it was not a big deal for the aunt to take her to R. Kelly because that would have been her big break. Oh, thank you, Rachel.
Oh, that
Thank
is
you,
so nice. Thank
Rachel.
you,
Bless
Rachel.
your heart. Thank
Keep them
you.
coming, guys. Thanks for the super chats.
Thank you so
The
much. You
stickers.
know what I almost did? Make it rain, make it rain.
Uh,
Oh, oh my goodness. Don't mind me. Let me go back to the video. Thank you, sweetheart. Both of you.
I wanted you to, if you would, read something that I think would be best if we heard it from you. And this is the grace note.
Hmm.
I highlighted this section because, I'm not going to make you read all 3 or 4 pages,
Okay.
but I think it would be important to hear this in your own words
Yes. That's fine.
and the last part,
Okay.
Oh,
if you
this
don't
is
mind.
deep, you guys. Listen to
You're
this.
welcome.
Dear beautiful soul, it's you. It's always been you. You were the girl with saucers for eyes, and the world was a buffet spread out in front of you. You were the girl who spit rhymes and played basketball with all you had. You loved your parents and especially your baby brother. You loved going to church. You were a friend. Rashona Landfair. Don't believe yourself not to be good enough. There is no yardstick for good enough. You were a girl,
Oh.
perfectly imperfect human being. You could not have lived your life in reverse. There was no way for you to know what you know now. So if you don't remember anything else, remember that children don't protect themselves from danger. Let go and let God. No one else holds power over your mind, body, or spirit. It's taken a while for you to arrive at the sure footing of this knowledge, but it's a good place to be. This is your moment. It's good to be you. God willing, you have more living and loving and growing to do. Go live in your truth and walk in your light.
Mm.
Embrace this next chapter in your journey with anticipation that God will plant new dreams in the fertile soil of your heart. Love you times infinity, Rashona.
That was beautiful.
it
Oh,
was.
that was beautiful.
That was
Um,
beautiful.
Lady Letitia, thank you so much for the super chat. I really appreciate you. Thank you so much. And Rachel Haynes, congratulations on becoming a member. Thank you, my love. Thank you. Let me answer one question. Just Hot Flashing says she needs the Zell again. If you go to the back of my page, where the description is of the channel, my Zell is in the back. It's just my email address, basically. MickeyJonesRay@hotmail.com. I need to start posting that. I used to in the we used to in the chat, but if any of the mods have that information, could you put it in the chat for me? I appreciate it. But yeah, anyway, that was beautiful what she wrote herself in that book. That was beautiful. Okay, we got just a couple more minutes left on this video.
How proud are you of yourself?
I'm very proud of myself.
Mm-hmm.
I've come a long way. A lot of cold nights,
Mm,
but I'm here.
Mm-hmm.
mm.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And what she said there at the end is, but I am here today. And that is really at the core of her book. She's now a mother of a 5-year-old son. We did reach out to her aunt Sparkle, who said she is relieved that Rashona is in her healing journey. Sparkle also said this: any suggestion that I groomed, facilitated, or enabled harm to my niece is untrue and deeply painful. As for R. Kelly, who is currently serving sentences for 2 federal convictions, an attorney representing him told us they could not comment on specific allegations in the book without reading it. The attorney added that Kelly wishes Rashona success and peace at all levels.
Wow.
Yeah,
The nerve of him to say anything.
yeah. That's
It really
pretty.
doesn't mean anything.
That's pretty deep. Um, I found the section. There's a lot of pages to this, and I don't want to have to bore you guys with reading this Portia section, but I'll just read a few important parts too, because Portia describes something similar to what this young lady went through. Okay,
Wow.
this is just a section, and this is her book called "In Pursuit of Portia." This is written by Portia Williams. Uh, the Pursuit of Portia: How I Grew into My Power and Purpose. She is on the Real Housewives of Atlanta, and she's been on there for quite some time now. But she also had her own uh, R. Kelly experience, and she spoke quite a bit of it, almost a whole chapter in this book.
Wow.
And it starts out in terms of his part. It says, when I touched down in Chicago, I spotted a man holding a sign with my name on it. He was my driver, a light skinned older man who drove me through the frozen streets of Chicago. Although the sun was already starting to set, the headlights from his car lit up the streets as we drove farther and farther away from the city center. They also revealed little snow flurries and eventually a gate that opened as soon as we pulled in on what looked like a mansion. There are a lot of girls that come here, my driver said as we neared the house. I didn't know if he were trying to make conversation or warn me of something, but I'd soon find out. I thought I was going to a recording studio, but instead we pulled to the side of his huge house. When the car finally stopped in the circular driveway, I opened the door and the driver helped me grab my black Calvin Klein luggage from the trunk. As I walked into the side of the home, a big guy escorted me from the car into what looked like the basement of the home. It almost looked like a security checkpoint because it was a bland all white room where 2 guys sat at a table staring at security cameras. Hey, Portia, come on, a familiar voice said. It was Lenny, the dude who had invited me out here to meet R. Kelly. So here's an indication that R. Kelly has people out there scouting for girls on his behalf, which
Mm.
was the case with Portia. Portia met this young man back in Atlanta, and he asked her if she sang. And she said, I can sing, which she really can't sing. She said her mama said she could sing, and I guess that's what made it true, but she can't sing, trust me.
Yeah, I
I've
think
heard her
she
sing,
sang
and
on
it's,
that show.
ooh,
And
wee.
yeah, no, I
But,
would not agree.
yeah. So he's the one that invited uh, her to come out and meet R. Kelly under the guise of having him hear her sing, which that's not really the case. Okay. She, I don't know, maybe she really thought that she could sing and, she had a chance. So it goes on to say, uh, I'd randomly I'd randomly met Lenny in the middle of a lounge inside the Bellagio in Las Vegas. I was with some friends, chilling, drinking, minding our business. So it wasn't Atlanta. I'm sorry, I misspoke. I was with some friends, chilling, drinking, minding our business when he slithered over to us trying to make introductions. What do? You look like you're on TV, he said, clearly trying to gas me up. No, I'm not. Well, are you an artist? He pressed. I can sing. Girl, you lied. You lied, little man. You lied. Oh, Jesus. At the time, I honestly didn't know if I could sing or not, so she knew doggone well she couldn't sing. But my mama said I could sing, so I thought I could sing. She she was always encouraging me to use my gifts. So when Lenny asked me if I was an artist, posturing like he could help me make it in the industry, I jumped at the opportunity. I was a singer that day. Well, I know R. Kelly, and I could introduce you. Really? I said excitedly. Yeah, he's looking for a new artist. He's got a couple of projects that are coming out really soon. You know what? Sing for me right now. Let's see what you got. Right now at this table? Yeah, let me hear you sing, Lenny said, crossing his arms to show me he was serious. And in that moment, I heard my mama's voice. If someone ever asks you to sing, you just do it. You sing. You got to stay ready so you don't got to get ready. So I did. I mean, this was an opportunity to work with R. Kelly. This could be great for me. This could be my big break. So I put those butterflies in my stomach inside their cage, stood flat footed, and sang, His Eye is on the Sparrow. Oh, you got a nice voice. All right. Lying his ass off. Because that girl couldn't sing a lick. Oh, no. She was not the greatest singer.
No.
Rachel said messing up the words to Amazing Grace. Oh, you already know. You already know, Rachel. He said everything after that happened so fast. Days after flying back home to Atlanta, I got a call from someone in R. Kelly's camp to get my information to book a flight out to Chicago to meet the man I'd later come to know as Robert. When I arrived in Chicago, I thought I'd be staying in a hotel and meeting him at a recording studio, but he had other plans in mind. I was so naive that I didn't realize I was going to a studio in his house. I was relieved to see Lenny when I arrived. He'd be the only familiar face I saw all day. After leaving my luggage at security, I followed Lenny inside. Robert's house had a cabin feel to it, I'm sorry. Although the walls were an eggshell color, they were trimmed in cherry wood. We walked down a long hallway where two studios sat across from each other. You can sit down right here, Lenny instructed casually. It was my first time walking into a studio, but I was acting as if I had done this 1,000 times.
She's got a little humor in there.
She meant it. She meant it. I'm making jokes.
Oh.
when we finally got a moment to ourselves, I had to ask Lenny what was up. You didn't tell me we were going to his house studio. No, that it wasn't not that it wasn't a state of the art recording studio, but still, this was a really big detail to leave out. Oh, yeah. I meant to tell you, he stammered.
Oh.
He's got a studio here at his house, so this is where we'll be recording. You're going to be meeting Robert in a minute. He's just in the studio across the hall working on something else. Are you nervous? No, I lied. I'm ready. I was nervous. But like so many different opportunities in my life, if I believed that it could happen, it would happen. If this opportunity was meant to happen, then I'd be ready for it and it would work out for my good. I never asked why me. I always asked why not me? Because you can't sing. That's why not me. Oh, all right, cool. I'm just going to have him play a couple of things and you see what you vibe on. Lenny left me in the studio to gather my thoughts. Little did I know it would be the last time I ever saw him, ever.
Wow.
That was the groomer. I mean, that was the scout. Lenny was the
Wow.
scout. He did his job. He found a girl and brought her to Robert, and she never saw him again.
Wow.
I sat in the darkened studio alone thinking, oh my God, I'm in R. Kelly's house. At the time, he was a huge star. He had just released Trapped in the Closet. It was only a few years after he had released Happy People, Ignition, You Saved Me, and every black person's cookout anthem back in the day, Step in the Name of Love. Step in the name of love. In the name of love. Ooh. And here I was, being personally invited to go meet him. I felt special. I felt like this was my big break. If I could just pull this off, I'd be one step away from making it. After a while, I realized I had been waiting for so long that I'd begin to think, who knows that I'm here? I really hadn't told anybody that I had left Atlanta and had flown all the way to Chicago. My gut was telling me to check in, so I pulled out my phone so I could text my girl and let her know I was there just in case. You should have followed your gut and went home because you can't sing. He was there for something else. A light knock on the door broke my train of thought. A guy that I had never seen before poked his head into the dimly lit studio. This is where I'm going to stop. This is where other people working for him should also be held accountable. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Yeah.
Other people that were making these things happen for him
Exactly.
should have also been held accountable.
I
Darlene Spand, oh, I already know where you going, sweetie. Darlene said, Darlene says, I'm sorry, no disrespect about Portia, but she is not that smart. She didn't know what the Underground Railroad was. Did anyone see that episode on The Housewives? I sure did. And I fell out. She thought it was a real railroad, a train and tracks and everything. Lord Jesus. Yeah, she wasn't too bright about that one. So let me see, where was I? A guy that I had never seen before poked his head into the dimly lit studio. You can come in here, he said dryly, opening the door for me and leading me to a much smaller yet brighter studio across the hall. Robert, wearing dark sunglasses and a hat turned backwards, sat in the corner of the studio. Along with the guy who had just led me into the studio to meet him, an engineer sat at the board in the control room. Hi, I'm Portia, I said brightly, walking up to shake his hand. Oh yeah, nice to meet you. Nice to meet you. I heard about you, he said a little too fast. You came with Lenny, right? Yeah, I've known him for years. He told me about you. You sing. He said you got a he said he said you got a nice voice. Well, I'm working on this music right now, matter of fact. Sit down right here. Sit down right here. I want you to hear something. Robert pointed to a chair right beside him, but that other guy was sitting in it and he didn't budge. Instead, the dude looked at Robert from the side, burying whatever Slick thought was in his mind. Hey, watch out, man. Let her sit down right there, Robert said, with a little bit more bass in his voice. The guy stood up slowly and found another place to land while I sat down in the seat that he had warmed up. When he nodded to the engineer, the song started playing through the studio speakers. It sounded magical, almost like the pitch perfect notes were bouncing off the walls. And I'm going to go through blah, 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 while I'm really sitting in the presence of magic and true talent, blah, 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 blah. Um, this is a song I just wrote off the top of my head. I'm not one of those people who read and write and stuff like that. So, it was said that Robert could not read and write,
Right. That's what it was said.
and that is pretty much the truth.
Mm.
Yeah, we just produced a couple of minutes ago. His engineer turned around and added, "Wow, that's really a great song." Oh, did I lose connection?
No.
Oh, okay. For some reason, something happened. Okay. Within 15 minutes, Robert started treating me as if he had known me for years. It was actually kind of disarming to have him suddenly act like we were friends, and I was his homie who stopped by to kick it in the studio while he was creating. Although it didn't feel forced on his end, I was pushing to catch up to the moment. I was there to prove I was ready to take my dreams to the next level, but he never asked me to sing for him. I wonder why. I can say, remind me of Suge Avery on Color Purple. I'm
Oh.
fixing to sing. I'm fixing to sing. Shoot. Sophia socked her in her jaw. Oh, after he played his track, he didn't even talk about music again. I wanted to press him to fight for my opportunity, but I was scared to. What if I did speak up for myself just to be humiliated? Or worse, what if I was kicked out of his house with no place to go and no way to get home to Atlanta? Oh, he wasn't going to kick you out, boo-boo. You wasn't there to sing. He was there to get that snappy nappy dugout. That's what he was trying to
Right.
get to. I tried to rationalize the moment. Even if I didn't do a song with him, at least I was present for this song. Even if we never got around to working on music, for me, at least I was here for this. And what a privilege. You see how they get them in, I mean, they get in their head
Yeah.
like it's, you should be glad you're here with such brilliance.
Right.
You can't even read. That ain't even brilliant. That's not brilliant. You can sing, you can do music, but you can't read and write, and that's not brilliant.
Okay.
Okay. Let's see. We were all watching a small television, blah, blah, blah. It says he wasn't hitting on me, not yet at least. He was relaxed, cool, chill. He treated me like a friend. After a couple of hours, Robert stood up and said, "I'll be back," and he left. His friend, the one who had led me into the studio hours ago, followed him. I was left in the studio with the engineer, whose back was toward me. I sat there for about 45 minutes, keeping my eyes glued to the television, confused. Eventually, another random guy, whom I had never seen before, came into the studio and says, "Oh, Portia, you can come with me. I can show you where you can put your stuff." "Okay, cool," I said, standing up, relieved that I didn't have to sit in that studio anymore. As I looked around at the cabin-like mansion, wide-eyed, trying to take everything in, I walked through the home and up a flight of stairs. I was rationalizing to myself, he must be putting me up for the night in a guest room. Maybe I'm going to stay here and we'll work in the studio tomorrow. I was desperately trying to figure out what in the world was going on while not trying to rock the boat. It was a skill I learned early on in my life, wanting to be liked, wanting people to like me, wanting to please, wanting to go along to get along. It rarely served me, but in my mind, it was better than living in conflict. You you can just stay here in the house or whatever, the guy said casually. Robert will see you later. With a house this size, I figured he probably had two or three guest bedrooms, so I didn't mind staying here before my flight the next day. But when this guy opened the double doors, I got the sense that we had just walked into the master bedroom, Robert's master bedroom. As I tiptoed into this huge bedroom, my thoughts rushed into my brain, bumping into one another. They were trying to make sense of everything. I had never said to Lenny, to Robert, to everyone. Could anyone have gotten the impression that I had come here for anything other than music? No, no. I was naive, sure, but professional nonetheless. I didn't even know how I ended up here or how I was going to get out. I looked around what was so obviously his bedroom with a poster bed that sat in the middle of the room. Around it sat an entire living room set up complete with a couch. The room was so huge it also fit a table and set of chairs. What was I supposed to do in here? What you think, fool? I wasn't sure what I would do to pass the time. But as the minutes turned into hours, and after what was on the television could no longer distract me from this surreal experience, I looked out the bay window. I couldn't tell what time of day it was, but my body let me know it was sometime in between the thick of night and the dawn of morning. I peeked my head out the bedroom door and looked down the hall. I noticed a photo of his ex wife hung in the hallway and thought to myself, is he still married? I'm so sorry, baby, Robert said, walking in the door and talking to me as if we were in a relationship. A stark difference from how he treated me earlier in the studio. I wanted us to work later, but I got caught up. When I heard his voice, I reluctantly opened my eyes, realizing I had drifted off to sleep. I looked around the room, trying to process exactly where I was. I still couldn't believe I was actually in R. Kelly's bedroom. This is night one. Okay, y'all, she just got off a plane. She ain't never seen
Wow.
this man before in her life, and now she's in his bedroom.
Yeah. That's wild.
Lord have mercy. How had I let it get this far?
Right.
I had no idea what was in store, but I played
That's
along.
the question.
Mm.
How
Oh,
did I
that's
let it get this
okay. It's
far?
all right, I said. Robert immediately started kissing me.
Oh.
I'm really into you. I think you're beautiful, he said. I'm just looking for somebody that I can spend time with. I need a girlfriend, a girl who's
What?
mature and patient and keeps a low profile. I need her. Can you be that girl? I'm super low key, I replied. I felt myself getting caught up in the fantasy as if I was dreaming. But what about your. Wait a minute, listen to this one. But what about your wife? I'm single, he emphasized, and I'm lonely all the time. Robert said he spent so much time by himself because he worked so much on his craft. And when he was working, it was not only hard for him to meet people, but also hard to be around people. He acted like his gift was just so heavy on him that whenever it called for him to be in the studio, that's what he had to do. That need, that pull, it kept him from a lot of relationships in his life. Robert said he just needed somebody who would be understanding of what he could give in a relationship and what he could not. Hearing Robert pour his heart out, it made me want to be that for him. Here's the mind fuck right here, you guys. Here's the mind fuck right here. Pay attention. Pay attention. This is this is the mind fuck. Excuse my French. Hearing Robert pour his heart out, it made me want to be that for him. It was the way he opened up, needing me, wanting me, that made me want to be there for him. I wanted to be that girl that he was looking for to live that fairy tale. But my rational mind kept pulling on me too. It begged me to question what was going on, and it continued to pull me back and forth throughout the next few months. Months.
Months.
Months. This is just night number one. This went on for months.
Months.
Months. This is here. I'm still talking about night number one, but she just said this went on for months. So y'all not
Months.
together? I pressed. No, we're not together. Oh, okay, because I saw her picture in the hallway. We're not together. We haven't been together for a long time. It's just me. It's just me and my kids. I just like your spirit. It's something about you, he said, promptly changing the subject. I want you to take your clothes off. My rational mind woke back up at that line. I could have laughed in his face, grabbed my luggage, and walked right out of there. I like to think I would have if I wasn't in the middle of nowhere with nowhere to go. Yeah, right. Or I could do what I had done in so many situations and put what I felt, nervousness mixed with panic, to the side in order to survive what was about to happen. Plus, I'm already here. I told myself, I'm in his bedroom. I've already been in his house for hours. It's 3 or 4 in the morning. I've already put myself in this position. This is what you're supposed to do. You have to. You have to. There is no turning back. What are you going to do? Say no, and then what? Then you're stranded with nowhere to go. So I took off my clothes while he stood there looking at me. At that time, my body wasn't my body. Wait, I'm sorry. Let me back up. At that time, my body wasn't the body I have now. I was skinny, no more than 145 pounds. My body looked very young. Listen, y'all. This is what he likes.
Wow.
This is what he likes, y'all. She said that y'all done seen Portia now.
Right.
Portia she got hips for days,
Yep.
booty for days, titties for days. She banging, okay?
Yeah.
But during this time, she was built like a little boy.
Oh, R.
She
Kelly.
said, I was skinny, no more than 145 pounds. My body looked very young. I had no breasts, no hips, but he didn't seem to mind. In fact, it seemed to turn him on. How old are you? He said. 20, I replied before he cut me off from finishing saying my age, which was 25. So she lied about her age. Oh, Lord. Stop, he said. Let's just say you're very young. A few minutes later, I ran to the bathroom to wash him off me. I felt so disconnected from the man who had just told me how badly he needed me. I turned the sink on so he couldn't hear what I was doing. When I walked back out, his shirt was back on. You're good? Robert said, looking over at me. I gotta go. I'm supposed to be meeting this producer. It was around 5 or 6 in the morning, but I just let him tell me any excuse to leave, and he left. What I didn't realize when he walked through his double doors was that he'd leave me in his bedroom for the entire next day. The door wasn't locked, yet I didn't feel welcome to roam around his house
Shit.
alone. He never told me I couldn't leave, but he also never encouraged me to make myself at home. He never
Mm.
told me not to open the door, but he also never invited me downstairs to get something to eat. By simply leaving me there, he disarmed me. I was frozen. I eventually got up the courage to call downstairs because I was starving. I needed something to eat. Thoughts of working on music sat in my mind, and that's where they'd lie dormant. I She should have said die, because you can't sing. By the time Robert walked back into his bedroom, with me still lying on the bed watching television so many hours later, I was just happy to see someone. I was actually happy to see him. I can't believe you left me like that, I told him. You did it a second time. I don't like to be left alone. I want to go home. No, 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 baby, don't be like that, he said, looking genuinely hurt by the mentioning of leaving. Let me give you some money. You can go to the mall, get out of the house. I had a business and my own money. I had friends, a loving family, and a mother who had taught me better than this back home. Who would worry about my whereabouts? I thought about my mom a lot when I was at Robert's house, and the idea of disappointing her and letting her down kept pulling me back to my senses and calling me home. I flew back to Atlanta that evening. I never said goodbye to Robert during my first trip to his house, but I'd end up back there two or so more times. I was lured because I was young and insecure. I was lured because of his kind words and loving actions. I was lured because the combination of these two things manipulated me to my core. Each time I went, it got worse and worse and worse. Robert invited me to fly back out to Chicago through an email I knew he didn't write. When one of his drivers pulled me into his Olympia Fields estate for the second time, security led me straight to a small guest room. I walked into the yellowish painted room, which was nestled beside the billiard room where the pool table sat, and again Robert was nowhere to be found. Instead, I was left to stay in that room until he visited me. And again, the door wasn't locked. No one told me I couldn't leave, but it still felt like I wasn't allowed to walk around the house. I felt like I was on lockdown. I wish I could say this was a new feeling, being trapped in a room, but it wasn't. The walls eventually started to close in on me after a day, and I snuck out the room to get some fresh air. On my way back from the pool area where I passed a security guard who invited me to swim if I wanted to, I bumped into a really pretty light skinned girl in the hallway. She wasn't wearing any makeup and her hair was slicked back into a ponytail. She made eye contact with me. Hey, she whispered. Matching her tone, I replied back, whispering, Hey, I'm Portia. I'm over here in this room. I'm down the hall. How many girls are here? I don't even know. Suddenly, one of the big security guards made his way into the hallway. Oh yeah, you can go into your room right there, he said, motioning to her. Immediately, without another word and without making any kind eye contact with me, she disappeared. You shouldn't talk to her, he warned. Robert eventually came to visit me in my room a day later with apologies dripping from his lips. I'm sorry, I was working. You know how it is. You know how it be. Listen, come out with me. Come out the room. Let's go get something to eat. My family's having a cookout. He led me he led me downstairs to the family room where his entire family was relaxing, running back and forth from the kitchen, eating and chilling. Robert's aunt, whom I had never met, but who somehow knew my name, was there too. Ain't that a blip? Hey, Portia, she said as if she knew me. Go ahead and fix yourself a plate. By this time, it was my second day in the room with nothing to eat. I was so hungry, so I ran into the kitchen and I piled food on my plate. But when I got to the potato salad, I paused. It was the most yellow potato salad I had ever seen. Wow, is this how they made their potato salad in Chicago with all this mustard? I thought. I was hungry, but I wasn't that hungry. You can't eat everybody's potato salad anyway. Before I sat back down with the rest of his family, I heard a voice say, "Oh, you're such a pretty girl. Robert did good with you." Robert, Robert. Yeah, man, you did good with her. It was his sister.
Mm.
Oh, yeah, I love her, he replied to her. Eventually, he turned his head to me and said, "Portia, I love you, man. You know I'm going to have a baby by you, right? Did y'all know that?"
Oh.
His family either ignored us or looked at us in admiration. Robert laid his head in my lap, and I immediately forgot about all the anger I felt after being locked up in the room all day. Being about Robert, being wrapped up in his fantasies, made you want to believe in his fantasies too, even if you knew better. This moment overrode any logic I understood about what was happening inside that house. I wanted to believe I wasn't a girl he was locking in his room to use whatever, whenever he wanted or remembered. This was public confirmation in front of his whole family that he loved me, or at least he thought he did. I chose the fantasy of security and love and family over what was actually happening to me because the one thing I always wanted was to be loved, and that's what he was giving me. Even with my own business, a supportive family and friends, I only saw myself through his eyes, and I didn't see much. Mm. I didn't stay for long during that second trip, but Robert would call often. When he did call, I felt like we were in some kind of a relationship, even if our interactions and conversations were sporadic and a bit random. I was settled back in Atlanta when I received a phone call from Robert inviting me back out to Chicago. He came with more and more apologies, his signature refrain telling me, "I'm so sorry I left you in that room like that. I'll never do that again. I love you. We're supposed to be starting a family." Although my gut was telling me to leave this man alone, I unfortunately ignored it one last time. I had touched down in Chicago and once again slipped into the back seat of a private car, and once again I was greeted by security at the side door. This time I was led to a completely different room in a different part of the estate. I found myself in a fully mirrored room. Aside from the hardwood floors, the room was entirely covered in reflective mirrors. It had mirrors on every wall and mirrors on the ceiling. The only part of the wall that wasn't reflective was where the television was mounted. I thought to myself, this is going to be rough. I was left in that room staring at different versions of myself for 3 days straight. Can
Oh,
y'all hear me now? For 3 days straight.
wow.
Or it might have been 2 days straight. When you're left alone in a room like that for that long, you lose track of time. Thankfully, I had brought my laptop with me. If I was going to be on lockdown, I needed something to distract me. I also made sure to tell a girlfriend I was at his house just in case. I'll never understand how I let him lure me back into his house time and time again, only to be locked away. I'll never understand why I was afraid to leave. And each time I wanted to be like, you know what? I'm getting out of here. Robert or a security guard would pop up, luring me back and convincing me to stay. After 24 hours of staring at myself in those mirrors, I called I called downstairs to the security desk to say, "I want to leave. I was done." "Well, Portia, Robert says he wants you to be ready in an hour. He wants you to go to a party with him." "He does?" "Yes, he does. Can you be ready in an hour? Wear minimal makeup." What y'all listen. He like 'em young. Young ones don't wear makeup.
Oh, wow.
He like 'em young. He like little girls, teenagers. If I could turn back the clock, I wish I had the strength I have to say no. But instead, I got dressed and followed a security guard down to a large room inside his estate that held a pool table in the middle of the floor. When I walked inside the room, there were about 20 or 30 other girls there, all different types. A speaker that I couldn't see played one of his songs. Robert's songs were the only ones we'd hear all night. What kind of party is this? Where did these girls even come from? I wondered. I walked up to a few girls to make conversation, to have something to do, to pass time. I mean, I hadn't seen or spoken to anyone since I'd arrived. I also wanted to figure out if these girls were staying in this house too, or if I was the only one. I've been here for a month, one said. I've I've been here a week, another whispered. I'm staying in the studio, yet another girl shared. I'm actually still in school.
Wow.
About an hour into the party, Robert strolled in like he was the star of the night. All the girls started clapping and yelling and saying stuff like, "Ooh, R. Kelly. Ooh, here he is. Ooh." Hey, ladies. Thank you for being here tonight, Robert said after walking into the center of the room near the pool table. I just wanted us to all have a way to get together and have a good time.
What?
I just wanted us to all have a way to get together and have a good time.
He is slow.
With that, he started to mingle with each girl. While some girls in baggy clothes didn't speak to anyone, others were trying desperately to get into the party spirit. Everyone, though, was vying to get a little attention from Robert. Eventually, he came over to say hello to me. Hey, Portia, baby, he said, giving me a kiss on the lips. I didn't see him kiss anybody else on the lips, so perhaps I was his girlfriend after all. His girlfriend, slow motion, okay? His girlfriend in a pretty messed up relationship. The party ended after Robert left the room with two cute girls who had kept to themselves for most of the night. Of course, I was upset about it, but what did I expect after being in a room full of girls throwing themselves at him? I dragged myself back to that spooky mirrored room, feeling worthless. I was beyond upset. I was sad. I was depressed. And the worst part about it was that I wasn't even that upset with him. I felt more disappointed in myself that I had found myself in this place, at this party with these girls. When I wasn't distracted by him, I was being tortured by questions that clouded my mind. I'm going to go ahead and stop it at that point. But yeah, they continued to stay in contact. But
Oh,
this is the mind of a pedophile. This is the I'm sorry,
yeah.
a PDF. I'm sorry, a PDF. This is the mind of a groomer, and
Yeah.
she was the perfect mark.
Yep.
She was the perfect mark, and built like a boy. So
Okay.
I mean, and like I said, I didn't intend to even go into all that tonight, but I thought it would be most appropriate in this case because we're talking about that 14-year-old girl
Yeah.
who held all that inside of her for 25 years.
That's a long time.
25 years.
Wow.
Now, I can go ahead and play these videos for you. They're not very long. Matter of fact, I will get rid of one of them. It's his assistant, which, uh, and then we've already heard from Sparkle. Unless you guys want to hear. Oh, but there's one more piece of information you guys need to know. because karma's a bitch. First of all, I'll let you see Sparkle, the aunt that that basically recommended that she sit on R. Kelly's lap and rub his head and ask him to be her god daddy.
Wow.
So hold on just a second. I'm just gonna play a blip of this because I know the time is far spent. I probably done bored the hell out of y'all
No, it
reading
was
that
really
stuff.
interesting.
Did you like it? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna play some of this.
Hi, Sparkle, and you're watching In This Room on Madame Noir. Well, we'll say this first. The documentary was good, and it gave a lot of information I didn't even know. But a few things that I particularly wanted to expound upon was the fact that I didn't leave my niece in the studio by herself. Number one. I saw her that evening walking into the studio to record for my album. And seeing her, I was just like, wait, what you doing here? Who's with you?
Now, just to give you guys some context, she's referring to the documentary about R. Kelly. She's commenting on that. And then she's talking about her niece because it was public knowledge that this was her niece that was that 14-year-old girl.
Okay.
The 14-year-old girl, of course, lied in court and said it wasn't her. They say allegedly that he paid the family off and, yada, yada, yada. But I find it curious that the first thing that she does when she comes on is defend herself. Did you notice that?
Yes.
She
is.
came out defensive.
Very defensive.
Yeah.
Because I didn't see anybody. And she was like, oh, I was dropped off. And I was like, huh? Immediately got on the phone with my sister. What y'all doing? Why is she down here by herself? And then maybe 30 minutes to an hour later, my brother-in-law was walking in the door. So I never, ever left my niece alone, anywhere for that matter. Another that I think was left out actually,
Okay.
is that I just introduced my niece to Robert, which was not true. Yes, I did introduce her, but I introduced a bevy of family to him. I introduced her correctly. Her parents brought her down to the studio, and that's where the introduction happened.
Parents.
Yeah.
It wasn't her by herself. It wasn't me picking her up. And, her parents came, and that's how the introduction happened. Like I stated, I introduced most of my family to Robert because we're a musical family. You know what I'm saying? And he had just gotten the green light on a new situation at Interscope Records, where he was taking me and where my debut album actually came from. And I wanted him to possibly put my family on, you know what I mean? Bless them like he was blessing me. Bring them into stardom as he was about to do with me. You know what I mean? So, and I didn't want to be selfish with my gift. I wanted to spread the love, like I stated, because we are a musical family. And, maybe he could position them in some spots that were unfilled yet.
Yolanda. Yolanda says, stop it.
I know.
Stop it.
I'm with Yolanda.
Okay, let me third that emotion. Stop it. You being downright defensive, and you wanted to bless everybody.
I'm innocent. I did nothing wrong.
Okay. Have y'all heard any more music come out of hers?
I never heard the first one.
Okie dokie, then there's your answer.
Because having a new situation, you're gonna need some bodies, right? You're gonna need some, extra hands or some extra artists. So, my niece was a dope rapper at the time. My other nieces and nephews that I introduced him to also They had great success overseas, and so maybe he can bring them on, as artists. My brother-in-law, who I introduced him to, which was my niece on the tapes, father, he plays guitar, dope guitarist. I begged Robert to give him, a try. He did, and he's on many of his CDs now. So yeah, that's another thing that I wanted to clear up, and also about the Andrea situation, Robert's ex-wife, the situation where I speak about, I hear somebody knocking, and he does a come on, she peeps out and says, "Can I come get something to eat?" She's coming down the stairs, and I am staring at Robert like, how dare you?
She had to have permission to go eat something. And
Wow.
that's his wife, the mother of his children.
Wow.
And she had to ask permission to go get something to eat.
Ooh.
That's some serious mind control.
Is that the one he was married to?
Yes. Andrea. Absolutely. So he had them all nuts in the head.
Yeah, he did. So she knew what he was doing.
Absolutely. Absolutely. They living in a mansion, all these different women up in that mansion, and she didn't know nothing. Yes, she did. And she just like Portia was hostage in the mirror room,
Right.
Andrea's hostage in another room, and another girl is a hostage in another room.
Right.
I mean, one girl said she was there for a whole month at that party. I've been here for a month.
She did.
Another one said, I've been here for 2 weeks. I mean, come on now. I'd have ran out of there. I'm sorry. That's crazy business.
Yeah.
He had a harem. He had a harem. I'm not nobody's hoe. I'm not.
Oh.
This ain't no hoe house.
How dare you? You are a piece of work. And he saw the he felt me because he kept looking at TV, right? But when he felt it, he looked over at me and he just started. And I was like, forgive my language, nigga, that shit ain't funny. And I said those words to him. And I said, how dare you? So I wanted to clear that up. So.
Clear what up?
Good question. It's all this stuff that she has to clear up. Why?
Yeah, like I didn't think it was okay, but it happened.
Yeah. Now the next question is, were you suspicious of R. Kelly before knowing his interactions with your niece? This part is somewhat interesting.
Let's go there. 89, I met Robert. A girlfriend of mine took me down to the studio, and she wanted me to sing for him. I didn't sing that particular time. So 89 to 92 had no really interaction with Robert at all. I would see him out in clubs here and there, whatever, but no interaction. 92, I started dating one of the guys in Public Announcement, which led me back to Robert. And he got to hear me sing at that particular time and wanted me to come down to the studio to sing some backgrounds for a new artist that he was working with. Unbeknownst to me, it was Aaliyah. Got to work and do most of the backgrounds on her album, except
another
for
young one.
Yeah.
At that point, I was working a 9-to-5 job, okay? I was leaving that job, coming to the studio to do another job. And there was very little, me and Aaliyah interacted, a little bit, but I was there to do a job. So there wasn't much interaction. She was around the studio. There were 3 other girls who Robert had brought on prior to me, and they were the group called Second Chapter. I don't know if you listen to Aaliyah's first album and you hear reference of the group Second Chapter.
Never
Those
heard
are
of them.
the girls who were backing Aaliyah up, kind of like a R. Kelly in Public Announcement, if you will. So yeah, I didn't see anything out of the ordinary in that time. This was 92 when I came back around and I started singing the backgrounds for her debut album. Now, mind you, her uncle, Barry Hankerson, is there. He's Robert's manager. Her parents are there.
Mm.
Who
I
Aaliyah?
wasn't thinking of or even
Mm-hmm.
think to look for anything, at that particular time. So, I was there to do the job. Like I said, I would go home, come back, go home, come back and do the, same job over and over again until we were done with the Aaliyah project. And then I had no connection or any, dealings with Robert until 1996.
He married Aaliyah.
I know. They had a
He
whole
married
relationship.
that child. He married that child.
Mm,
And one of I think it was it his manager went out there and got the dog got the marriage license and everything. I mean, these are the people that were complicit and helped him break the law. They should have been held accountable as
yeah.
well. I'm just saying what I'm saying. Just like with the Epstein thing, there were people that helped Epstein pull off not just Gazane or whatever that weird name chick that's sitting in prison right now.
Right.
She wasn't
Her.
the only one. She wasn't the only one.
Right.
There were others that were facilitating the movements of these girls that were trafficked in and out, in and out, in and
Yep.
out. See, those people should be held accountable. One
Yeah.
man can't run that kind of thing on his own.
No, he can't.
And R. Kelly, with his no reading and writing self, definitely couldn't have done all this on his own.
Right.
Yes, Aaliyah's uncle got it annulled. That's right. But I mean, to a certain degree, you have to look at this one as what this woman right here. I understand, that you're the one that pretty much brought it out into the forefront that he was being foul, but you told that girl to go sit on his lap
Yep.
and rub his head. What did you think that was going to mean?
Wow.
What do you think that was going to mean?
Good question.
See, we have these women that want to use their ex appeal to get their way. And you're basically teaching that girl to use her ex appeal at that young age. Ask him if he'll be your goddaddy.
Mm.
Sitting on his lap and rubbing his bald head. Or was he bald at the time? Hell, I don't know. Rubbing his head, period. That's
Right.
just too suggestive to me.
Oh yeah.
And this grown ass woman knows good and well what that would have been interpreted as by a man. That's right, Yolanda. She knew damn well what that meant. Maybe that girl didn't understand because she was 14. But this heifer here, this grown ass woman right here, she knew
Yeah.
exactly what that meant.
She knew
So don't be
exactly
coming
what.
all unglued because he's knocking her boots out.
So I wasn't there a steady period of time to see anything. You know what I mean? And in 96, when I was called upon to do more background, I, was singing in the studio, doing the background, what have you. And 2 songs in, he came into the booth with me and he was like, look, we're not just going to be working on anybody's CD this time. This is yours. And I'm like, yo, whoa. All right, let's go. Of course, I was elated by it because I'm like, yo, I'm about to work on my own stuff now. This is about to be great. So that happened, 96. Going to 97 is.
Did you go sit on his lap and rub his head?
Right. Makes me think that they may have had a relationship as well.
Big Daddy, can you be my god daddy? Rubbing on his head. Which head did you rub on?
Okay.
I'm sorry. Allegedly. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I shouldn't say such a thing about this one. I don't know this woman from Adam, but I do know what she said. She said, go sit on his lap and rub his head and ask
Yeah.
him to be your godfather. That
Mm.
was too much for me. That was just too
Yeah.
much for me.
I want to say 97 is the year I introduced my niece to him. Early 97, I do believe. And then there
I
was a
thought the
hiccup.
parents were there.
And the hiccup was I had a boyfriend. Robert didn't want me to have a boyfriend.
Why?
Now, mind you, Robert liked me, of course.
Did he?
Not of course, but
pause
Robert.
it, Auntie Mickey.
Well, looky here, looky here.
Well, looky now.
Robert liked you.
So y'all had a relationship. Something happened. Like Auntie Mickey said, something went down. Something had to go down.
Was he trying to go half on a baby?
Wow.
See, I something told me, and see now she trying to play it off like nothing ever happened between them. Oh, he liked me. He liked me.
And no, he liked your niece.
Yeah, he liked all of them. he looked
did.
NT thing with the snatch. He liked NT thing with the snappy nappy dugout. That's what he liked. Didn't
Yeah.
matter. I mean, he preferred them young though. And I guess maybe he was tired of you because you were not young like your niece.
Right.
Now I understand why people said she got jealous.
Yeah, now I do too.
Now I can understand. That's a piece of the puzzle that lets me know that there was something more than just the music aspect. Because this girl, he wasn't working with that girl on her rapping.
Yeah.
That niece, he wasn't working with her on rapping. That's what she brought her there in the first place for. But she going there more than she going there.
See, he had her mind too, but she's trying to pretend like I wasn't in it. I wasn't in the cult.
Well, she was in it for her own. She's trying to blow up in the music industry,
Right.
And it didn't happen.
No.
She did a good album, but she wasn't maintaining that, that good. Yeah. That you just told on yourself, boo boo.
Liked me.
Yeah, you
and
did.
I wasn't given into his advances toward me.
Sure.
He was a handsome guy, but I wouldn't go there. You know what I mean? And it was just something about him too. But anywho, there was a situation where Robert had told me that he was taking only me to Interscope Records and not the other acts that he had kind of brought in. And they would be staying on Jive Records. So now I told someone about this, and that person went back and told Robert that I told. Then the fact that I had a boyfriend, he didn't want me to have a boyfriend. This all played into his, I guess, insecurity. And he decided to take my deal away from me. And this went on for some months. We didn't speak. He didn't call. I didn't call him. And then a meeting was to take place. Someone called a meeting to get us back into good graces. And I'm certain it was probably something to do with Interscope Records because they had spent out a pretty penny on me. I had done the Be Careful video already. The promotions and stuff had kind of started. So they would be losing money if he were to do this. So a meeting was called, and we met at a hotel near the O'Hare Airport in Chicago. Barry Hengerson, which was his manager at the time, Robert, me, and I wanted my parents to come with me. Then my sister.
Why? You didn't trust them?
With the girl on the tape, and my brother-in-law also came because now they're like this. They thick as thieves right now. Without me, I'm not in the picture. You know what I mean? They stayed.
Sound like she was jealous.
Yes.
But she was gonna jump on this opportunity to come up in the industry. Wow.
And a couple other family members also were there. Barry Hankerson and Robert, me, and my parents. The meeting got along. Barry Hankerson was doing a lot of the talking. Robert did speak some. And what he said out of his mouth next, I almost sank down into the chair that I was sitting in. He stated to my parents, you know, your daughter's so fine, I jerk off just looking at her. To my mom and my dad. Do you know how I felt at that moment? My mom and my dad, you know what I mean? So
That's fine.
that happened. We left the meeting. I was appalled. My dad spoke some words to me, which I won't repeat, but I should have listened to him. Just let me say that. Then we kind of didn't really gel that well, but I came back on. Then 99 happened, and I was starting to work on my second album. I asked to be released from him in 99 because it wasn't a happy place for me anymore, and because he was trying to insert himself in my personal life, and I wasn't cool with that. So I asked to be released. He finally granted me the release, and then I went on to Motown. So I had nothing to do with him from that point on. Later on, mid 2001, I get a phone call, from two separate people in Robert's camp. And they stated to me, yo, you need to see what's up. Your niece is down here by herself. Something don't look right, something not right. You need to check this out. So what I did was I called my sister and I screamed at her, like, what you on? You know, what's going on? What are you doing? I'm hearing rumblings that my niece is down there by herself. What's up? So she was like, oh no, everything is cool, you know, nothing is going on, you know, just oblivious, naive, or whatever she is at this point. And
so hell no. Hell no. So the parents were well aware that that girl was there at that house alone.
You think?
That's what she just said, didn't she? Okay, maybe I misunderstood.
No, she didn't say that.
She said, okay, let me go back. I don't want to misinterpret it.
What's going on? What are you doing? I'm hearing rumblings that my niece is down there by herself. What's up?
This was her sister.
So she was like, oh no, everything is cool, you know, nothing is going on, you know, just oblivious, naive, or whatever she is.
But who was she talking to? The mother?
Yeah, she was talking to the mom.
So the mother knew that the girl was down there alone. See, this is the pimping. They say pimping ain't easy, but I guess if you got a 14-year-old, it is.
Wow.
My niece is down there.
Let me go ahead.
By herself.
By herself.
What's up?
Okay, let me back up just a little bit more.
Right. Something not right. You need to check this out.
Let me go back some more.
Yo, you need to.
Who is she trying to
insert himself in my personal life.
Okay.
And I wasn't cool with that. So I asked to be released. He finally granted me the release. And then I went on to Motown. So I had nothing to do with him from that point on. Later on, mid 2001, I get a phone call, from two separate people in Robert's camp. And they stated to me, yo, you need to see what's up. Your niece is down here by herself.
Okay.
Something don't look right, something not right. You need to check this out. So what I did was I called my sister and I screamed at her, like, what you on? You know, what's going on? What are you doing? I'm hearing rumblings that my niece is down there by herself. What's up?
Right.
So she was like, oh no, everything is cool, you know, nothing is going on, you know, just oblivious, naive, or whatever she is at this point. And so what I did next was I myself, along with two of my girlfriends, called the Department of Children and Family Services. Now, this is
Mhm.
before the tape even surfaced or me even knowing anything about a tape. I called them because I wanted them to check some stuff out. And they did. They came out to my parents' house. They spoke to my sister-in-law. I mean, my sister and my brother-in-law, and my niece. And my brother-in-law stated to them, "Oh, nothing is going on.
Oh,
No, no, no. Because if anything was going on, I would deal with him."
Mhm.
Okay. So, of course, they felt that I'm the culprit. I did that deed. I called that number and had them investigated, you know. So now they've taken a back seat and I'm not included on anything at this point. If I enter the room, it's crickets. You know what I mean? Late 2001, probably September-ish, my family had a bowling party and I end up going to it. And guess who's there? Robert.
Oh boy.
And I'm like
Who invited him?
uneasy and I want to snap off, but it's too many people there. And if I were to do anything, you know, it would be crazy up in there. So we did have a few words and he was like, "Yo, you know, we still family, you know."
Um, I'm calling cap on all this. I'm sorry. This don't sound right to me. None
right.
of this is sounding right to me at all. He
Yeah.
just pops in on some kind of party that there's just something is not coming out in the wash.
Right. Her
It,
story is
it's weird. Okay, I'll
"Oh,
keep going.
yeah, here go my number. Won't you call me? You can come down to the studio."
What, you don't already have his number?
right.
Does he change it every other month? I mean, because he's got such a conglomerate of girls that have to keep in
Keep
touch
up.
with him. Why would he continue to keep changing his number?
Mm.
A lot of this just
So
doesn't sound right to me
it's
now.
still what it is. I ain't call him. I ain't go to no studio. I ended up leaving very quickly.
Because he wasn't signing you. He wasn't doing no music for you anymore. That's what that was all about. He wasn't throwing no action your way.
Right.
That's bottom line.
Yep. He wasn't
Well,
going to sign you and get you another record deal or whatever you were
for
thinking.
real. Well, I tell you what, karma. They say karma's a bitch, right?
Yes.
Here, let me share this with you. And at this point, we just gonna be done, because this is a nice way to end it. Okay. Now, this is archived from February of 2023. R. Kelly sentenced to 20 years following HSI Chicago investigation. So you remember that 30-year sentence he got?
No.
Well, here we go. This is archived content. February 24th, 2023. Says recording artist Robert Sylvester Kely, also known as R. Kelly, was sentenced by United States District Judge Harry D. Leinenweber to 20 years in federal prison,
Mm.
19 of them concurrent with the 30-year sentence previously imposed in the Eastern
Oh,
District of New York, February 23rd.
he's never
So,
getting out.
he ain't getting out. He ain't getting out.
Wow.
Yeah. On September 14th, after a 4-week trial, a federal jury in Chicago convicted Kelly of 3 counts of producing child pornography and 3 counts of enticing a minor to engage in sexual activity. The trial revealed that Kelly enticed multiple underage girls to engage in sexual activity,
Mm.
and He continued to abuse his victims for years, at times recording some of the abuse, just like he did that girl.
Mm, mm, mm.
He had mounds and mounds of recordings, just like who?
Wow.
Diddy, just like
Kely.
Epstein. Ain't
Yeah.
no ain't no telling who else got recordings out there. They use them as souvenirs so they can sit
Yeah.
back and reminisce. Oh, nasty
Mm.
mofos.
Yeah.
Kely met his victims in the late 1990s and engaged in X acts with them when they were as young as 14, 15,
Mm.
and 16 years old.
That is so horrible.
On multiple occasions over several years, Kely covered up his abuse and silenced his victims. Robert Kely used his power and fame for evil when he exploited children for his own gratification, said Sean Fitzgerald, special agent in charge of Homeland Security Investigations, HSI Chicago. We are confident that Kely's sentence will empower victims who are facing similar circumstances to come forward, knowing they will be supported. I wonder how those Epstein girls feel though, because they
Right.
don't feel very supported right
And
now.
safe.
They're getting doxxed and everything.
I'm sure.
But the people that should be unredacted are still remaining
Exactly.
redacted. HSI, alongside its partners from the U.S. Attorney's Office, the Chicago Police Department, and IRS Criminal Investigation, will do everything in our power to ensure perpetrators like Kely face justice. This
It
is pretty
just.
long. This is pretty long.
Oh, that's.
So, well, actually, it's not that long. I can read it pretty fast. Let's see. HSI Chicago Special Agent in Charge, Sean Fitzgerald, U.S. Attorney for the Northern District of Illinois, John R. Lausch Jr., and Chicago's IRS Criminal Investigation Division Special Agent in Charge, Justin Campbell, announced the sentence. The Cook County State's Attorney's Office and the Chicago Police Department provided substantial assistance. Assistant U.S. Attorneys Janice W. Appentag, Elizabeth R. Pozzolo, Jason A. Julian, and Brian F. Williamson represented the government. With today's sentence, an actual predator is being held accountable for the years of abuse he inflicted on minor victims,
Hmm.
said Lausch. Kely used his celebrity and wealth to attract and victimize young girls and to obstruct prior criminal proceedings intended to end his despicable conduct, which is what basically he did when he had that girl lie. Because she didn't lie just because she felt like lying. He put her up to lying
Right.
in court. He,
Yeah. Because
she,
he
I
knew.
heard, I heard it said in another interview that uh, that he would make them practice on what to say. I
Oh,
don't know if it was
wow.
her interview or a different girl, one of the girls, but he would have them practice what they would say in court and stuff like that, and say in interviews, basically to
Wow.
cover for what he was doing. So this is right in line with all that.
Yeah, it is.
If you believe you are a victim of actual exploitation, you are encouraged to contact HSI's confidential tip line by calling 866-DHS to ICE 866-347-2423 or by using ICE's online tip form. The service is available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. So yeah, they're just talking about how many people work there and whatnot. So yeah, this is what a PDF file does. And even now the motives are still the same. The technique might be a little different
Right.
because of technology, but the outcome is still the same.
The
They
outcome
get
is
in their they
great.
get in their minds, and man, They get into their heads. Huh.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think I'm going to pull this up. I have a statement from Sparkle, but I think we've heard enough from her. Yeah. Yeah, it's not really that. Here, I'll just share it anyway. Just real quick. Real quick. Real quick. Okay, this is Sparkle's reply to Rashana. I'm relieved that Rashana is finally free to speak her truth and begin her healing journey. In addition to justice, I have always wanted healing and peace for her. I do need to be clear about one thing. Here we go. On defense. Any
Yeah.
suggestion that I groomed, facilitated, or enabled harm to my niece is untrue and deeply painful, especially given my documented actions at the time and throughout. When I was informed her parents were allowing Rashonda to spend unchaperoned time, here's where the parents are going. I'm
Yeah.
glad I did read this. The parents allowed her to
Yeah.
spend unchaperoned time with R. Kelly. I immediately contacted DCFS. When the tape surfaced and the state brought charges against him in 2008, I cooperated fully and testified under oath, despite immense pressure not to do so. I did this because protecting my niece from abuse and telling the truth mattered more to me than money and my career. This is the beginning of Rishana's lengthy deprogramming journey. It is true that she is a survivor of years of abuse, still learning to process what happened to her and who is responsible. It is also true and well documented that I stood up for her to try and stop the damage being done to her and
She's
countless
the
others.
hero.
Yes, yes. I wish her continued healing and peace as she continues to not only find her voice, but hopefully require accountability from those closest to her. Ooh wee, she just got to dig into her parents.
Yeah, she did.
Even though daddy's
But she
gone,
the one
mama's still
introduced her
alive.
to him.
Hmm. This last one here, but hopefully require accountability from those closest to her. Who would that be?
Her parents.
Mama. Well, daddy's gone. Daddy's gone. He
Yeah,
died
that
in 2021, but mama's still alive. Boy, oh boy. Well, you got some accountability too, boo boo, because you told her to go sit in his lap. So,
yeah.
anyway, you guys, thank you so much for hanging out with us. I hope you enjoyed this show. I hope it was informative. I hope it lets you know what some of the telltale signs are from these groomers out here. Because it doesn't matter if they're rich or
Scary.
poor, they got the same thing in mind. The same thing in mind to get between them little thighs and have their way with little girls and
Yeah.
manipulate their minds. So it's been going on for centuries. Trust and believe. So is there anything you'd like to say before we shut this down?
This was really good. This was really, really, really good and informative. Thank you for having me, Auntie Mickey. It is sad to hear about the victims and what they went through with this man. And it's sad that it took so long to bring him to justice. It
Right. Well,
really
he was brought to justice, but it's sad that she held on to this for
right.
so long as a secret, you know.
It was a
And she had to
secret.
finally free herself.
Yeah.
So I give her all kind of kudos because that was pretty courageous to come out after all this time. And
Yeah.
people asking why did she choose now? But to me, at this point, it doesn't even matter.
Yeah. It's at some point you got to free yourself from it.
Yeah, because he ain't never getting out. No matter what. You know,
Right.
whether she had come out or not. Or now, I can't even talk straight. I done talk so long I can't hardly talk straight. But you guys have a wonderful evening. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. And you guys, just like I always say, stay safe, stay blessed, and I'm out. Peace.
Hey there, my kinfolk, thanks for stopping by. Auntie Mickey's house, where we reach for the sky. Every comment and smile, you make my heart glow. Together we're strong, together we grow. From gossip to politics, we cover it all. Sharing laughs and thoughts, having a ball. Your support means everything that I know. Feels like family here in this sweet show. So let's keep it flowing, keep the love alive. Every moment together makes me thrive. You're more than viewers, you're my kinfolk. You see, my gratitude runs deep as the sea. Thank you for being here, for sharing your time with each comment, with each rhyme. You're my kinfolk, my family, my crew. So much love to all of you. Turn up the camera, let's make it bright. Your support lifts me up, takes flight.